so with working with these two meridians, it's purely or mainly an upper meridian practice, an upper body practice. So we'll be looking at how to stimulate and open up the front of the shoulders, the back of the shoulders, and I will add in some postures which are standing and balancing just to help us activate the yang within the yin. If at any time anything feels uncomfortable, of course, modify as appropriate. And I think that the most important thing to remember with this meridian and this heart opener is that when we start working with these meridians, particularly around the heart space, because of our times and our culture, we're very used to hunching over. So whether you're typing at a computer or you're driving a car or holding a baby, there's a lot of this rounding of the shoulders that's going on. And so as we start to stretch the shoulders back and open up through the fronts of the shoulders, you may start to experience some discomfort. And it's not a pain discomfort, it's just a feeling of being stretched that may feel a bit uncomfortable. So just note that that may come up for you. And also, the neck plays a very big part in these meridians, right? The meridians run up the sides of the neck and the face as well. And so you may find, and this may sound pretty strange, but you may find that you don't really know where to put your head because when you start stretching out through the fascia of this area, if it has been hunched over for a long period of time, what happens is, if you look at the way my head is placed, the head is kind of jutted forward. Whereas when you start to open up, if you leave your head there, it's a very weird placement. So you're going to have to learn how to bring the head back into its natural alignment. And so as we start to learn all of these different placements, you may find that there's parts of your day that need a little bit restructuring. For example, when you're sitting down at the computer or driving, you may even find that there's just this playing around with the way that the body sits, the postural alignment. And I encourage that because we're really starting to shift the body's not only structural alignment, but the muscles that hold the alignment together. So yeah, see how it goes. See how it goes for you. What's up, buddy? Okay, so to begin with, let's find a comfortable seat. You can either sit up on your heels or you can sit cross-legged. If you have any knee injuries, you may want to pad the knees. So you put a cushion or a pillow at the knee crease and sit up on the cushion. And just close the eyes. Now, if you are including the oil protocol as part of this practice, then pause the video here and add in your oil protocol. Otherwise, just find some stillness. Your hands are in your lap. Your eyes are closed. Deep breaths. Take some deep breaths. Now start to rock your pelvis forward and back. So you're anterior and posteriorly tilting the pelvis. And what happens is the top body, the torso, starts to move forward and back. So you can feel what it's like as an arch in the spine and then also as a tilt underneath. When you tilt the pelvis underneath, this generally shortens the length of the legs or the hamstrings. And both of these feel really good and nice. There's no forcing, no pushing. You're allowing the belly to hang soft. And we're lubricating through the lower spine. Just forward and back. One more round. And then come back into stillness in the center. So when I say center, what I mean is that there's a natural curve in through the lower back. The belly is very soft, so you're not holding anything in. You're relaxing the belly completely. And now I want you to imagine that the roof of the mouth is directly over the pelvic bowl. And the crown of the head is reaching up. So with your eyes closed, imagine a beautiful long string connecting you with the sky. Connecting through the crown of the head, lifting up through the back of the neck, lengthening. The roof of the mouth over the bowl of the pelvis. And what this naturally does is it starts to extend the spine, it lengthens the spine. So instead of being slouched down, you naturally tend to lift out of the pelvic bowl. We're going to try and keep this alignment of the spine throughout the practice in between poses. Okay? And so remove the bolster, blocks, pillows, and find yourself on all fours. Hands directly under the shoulders, knees hip distance apart, fingers spread wide. Press into the knuckles, the pads, and the palms of the hands, like you're creating a bit of a suction cup underneath the palms. And now dip the belly down and tilt the pelvis. And now tilt the pelvis in the opposite direction, rounding through the spine. This is cat-cow. Three more rounds. Maybe you want to interlace your breath with the movement. Breathing in to lift, lengthen, arch. And out to round. And come back into neutral spine. I want you to place your hands one paw print forward. So you're moving your hands one paw print forward. Tuck your toes under and then sit back onto your heels. So this is a modified extended child's pose. It's very active. The toes are tucked under. You're stretching through the soles of the feet. And you're pressing into your hands a lot. So there's a lot of traction going in through the arms. They are active. Now I want you to lift your knees off the ground, but keep the toes tucked under and your hands pressing down. Keep your butt up into the sky and you start to gently lift through the hips. You're in downward facing dog now. Now your knees are still bent. We're keeping the spine nice and long. The ears are in between the arms. So bring your ears in between your arms. And now pedal out the feet one by one, slowly and gently, stretching through the backs of the legs. If you can, close down the mouth, breathing in and out only through the nose. Now remember, down dog is more about the length of the spine than the length of the legs. So if you need to be in a bent downward facing dog, then please do that. But if you have the capacity and your legs feel like they can lengthen, they can stretch, then lengthen them and draw the heels down to the ground, spreading the toes wide. Yeah, so the toes are not scrunched up. You're relaxing the toes. Like if I came to you now and touched your toes, they would be completely relaxed. You can have a look at your toes. See if they're scrunching up and holding on for dear life, or are they so relaxed because the ball of the foot is pressing down. 2 more breaths here. This is an inversion. So we're allowing the blood to rush through to the brain, rejuvenating the brain and the face. Such a beautiful way to wake the body up. Now bend the knees, look towards your hands, and slowly start to walk towards your hands. Your feet now hip distance apart. Bend your knees a lot. Interlace your hands behind your back. Cup your palms together. Lengthen through the legs as much as feels okay for your lower back. And then lift your hands up off your lower back. Relax your head completely and stretch through the fronts of the shoulders here. Now, traditionally, we keep the palms of the hands touching. Okay, this creates a deeper stretch through the front of the arms and the shoulders. Okay, and it draws the shoulder blades down the back so that the shoulders are not cooped up in the ears. So feel this. If you were to relax your palms and only interlace the fingers, what happens here is there's a natural tendency to slouch the shoulders in towards the ears. But the minute you cup your palms together and you lengthen through the arms and you push your arms away from your hips, there's a lengthening through the spine, the shoulders, and the shoulder blades draw down the back. The higher you lift your palms towards the sky, the deeper the stretch through the front of the shoulders. 1 more breath. Release your hands. Bend your knees and now dangle your hands down to the ground. Interlace your arms, so now you're sitting cross-armed, framing your head. Your head is relaxed completely. You're looking through your legs to the back wall. Yes, nod. No, nod. And your thighs and your belly connected. Even though your feet are hip distance apart, there's a gap in the upper thighs, allowing for the belly to completely relax here. One more breath. Now relax the arms, bend the knees, and very, very, very slowly roll up, pressing into the feet. The knees are bent to take the pressure off the lower spine. Very slowly, let everything hang, and roll on up. Vertebra by vertebra, stacking your spine one on top of the other. And come to stand. And just stand with your eyes closed for a few breaths. Notice if your weight is more to the left or the right, more to the front or the back of the foot. And again here, start to imagine that string connecting you to the sky. Crown of the head lifted, back of the neck long. roof of the mouth over the pelvic bowl. Wonderful. Now interlace your hands and then press your palms forward, bend your knees and round through the spine. And release. And again, round through the spine. Release. One more time. And release. Good. Now come towards the back of the mat. Now I'm going to turn to face diagonally towards you, but you can face forward. I'm just doing this so that I'm in picture. We're going to practice tree pose. This is a balancing posture. If you need a wall next to you to hold on to, you can. This is no big deal. You can use the support that's been given to you by the universe, in this case the wall. But the intention here is to stretch through the fronts of the arms. So I'm going to turn around and just show you there are a couple of different options for arm placements here. The first one is exactly what we did before. So your palms are cupped, your hands are away from the spine, and you're lifting your arms upwards towards the back wall. You can also take what we call temple mudra, which is the pointer fingers reaching forward, the thumbs wrapped one on top of the other. Yeah, and you can create a bit of a mudra, a hand seal. You could do what we did 2 seconds ago in that forward fold and just cross your arms. But if you're going to do this, I'm going to ask you the first one to cross it in the unko way, the way that doesn't feel the most natural. Or if you have the capacity, reversed prayer. Okay, now all of these are going to stretch the front and the back of the shoulders. So pick one that works for you and see if you can try this whilst you're in a balancing posture. So your hands are resting next to your sides to begin with. And we're going to feel into the left and the right legs, transferring your weight onto the right foot. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to mirror image me, but just remember which leg you're doing it if not, okay? You're going to draw your foot, your left foot in this case, draw the heel up, but notice whether your hip lifts. So what we want to do is keep the hips level. So even though the heel lifts, the hips stay where they are. Quite often what I see is not only that the hip lifts, right, the hip of the elevated leg, but also this can happen where there's a dropping in through the supporting leg. So we want to keep the hips nice and still, and we do this by bending through the knees ever so slightly to activate the thighs and also the buttocks. So draw everything in like you're drawing up a little corset in each hip socket, and then lift this working leg. Option to tap the foot towards the ankle. This is one option of tree pose. If you'd like an external rotation of that leg, you're welcome to either place the toes down on the ground for some support or wrap the whole foot around the ankle. An alternative, more advanced posture, although I must say the balancing is still the same, whether your foot is up in the sky or down towards the ground, you're still balancing here, right? And then the second option is to bring the foot just below the knee. We never want to place the foot on the knee, only because this is going to create pressure on the knee joint. So below the knee, or if you feel you have the capacity and you want to try, draw the heel towards the inner groin. And then from here, go ahead and pick your arm position. We're here for another 5 rounds of breath. If you're looking for some extra challenge, you can close the eyes. Yeah. Inhale. Exhale. 3. Inhale. Exhale. 4. Inhale. Exhale. 5. Stay with your legs where they are. Release the arms. Release the leg very gently. Feet parallel. And then wiggle it out as much as you need. Maybe you need to flex and point the standing foot. I'm going to do the other side. So come onto the other side and choose your foot position. You're either ankle to ankle, turn out or parallel, under the knee or above the knee. And then gently choose your arm position. Again, 5 rounds of breath here. Inhale. Exhale. 1. Inhale. Exhale. 2. Inhale. Exhale. 3. Inhale. Exhale. 4. Gently release the arms and then the legs. Maybe you want to shake it out a bit. Roll the head from side to side. Big neck rolls. Beautiful. I'm going to come down onto the ground now. Now, if you have any conditions of the neck that require for you to be careful, that require minimal pressure on the neck, then my suggestion would be to do the supported variation, which I'm about to show you. There isn't as much activation through the meridian lines in the supported variation, but that's okay. This is an inversion and we're trying to create some lift in the hips to draw the blood towards the heart space and also the face. So I'm going to show you 2 variations of bridge pose. They're called Setu Bandha Sharvangasana. So the first variation, and I'll show the active variation first, and then I'll show the more passive variation. So the idea here is that your feet are quite close to your hips. So you're lying down on the floor, quite comfortable. Your heels are in alignment with the sitting bones, and you're able to brush through with the fingertips towards the heels, so you can touch the heels. So just to get the spine a little bit warmed up, again, tilting the pelvis back and forward. So you're pressing the lower spine into the mat, into the ground, and then releasing it. So tilting it forward and back, forward and back. And you'll find that the body actually brushes up and back on the mat. One more round, lubricating through the lower spine. And then find your neutral spine. Press into the feet a lot, keep the knees in alignment. If you find that the knees start to flail outwards, you may want to put a book or a block in between the thighs so that the legs are contracting towards one another to keep alignment of the knees, the hips and the ankles. Now start to gently lift your hips up off the ground, bringing your hips in alignment with the knees. Tuck the chin in and the back of the neck is long. And then gently release all the way down to the mat. And again, rolling up. Back of the neck long, chin tucked please, and relax all the way down. One more round, lifting up. So you can either hold here with your palms pressing down into the mat, or if you're looking for a stretch to the fronts of the shoulders, interlace the hands behind the buttocks, cup your palms together, and squeeze the shoulders underneath the chest for a full variation of bridge pose. What we want to make sure is that the back of the neck is long, pressing into the mat here. Chin tucked, knees squeezing together. 3 more rounds of breath here. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 4. Inhale. Exhale 5. If your hands are clasped, release your hands. Take your shoulders out from underneath you and press your palms down to the ground. Slowly and gently release your hips to the earth, one vertebra being placed down at a time. And you can tuck your knees inwards towards one another, the heels out, and relax through the lower back. And so that is the active variation of bridge pose. For a more passive variation, which we're going to stay here for a few minutes, is take a pillow or a block or anything that's going to lift your hips up. Keep it next to your hips and then lie down. Your feet again, hip distance apart, just underneath the knees. So in alignment with the knees, maybe a little bit further out, as long as you can touch your heels with your fingers. Now press into your heels and lift your butt, but bring the pillow underneath your sacrum. And here we have the option, if we're looking to stretch through the lung meridian. This is more of a passive stretch, so it's not activating through the lung and large intestine front and back. But here, cactus your arms, which is to say that your elbows are in alignment with the shoulders to the side, and the hands are in alignment with the elbows to the top. So your hands are in effect in alignment with your head. Yeah, a little cactus position. So they look like this. Yeah, cactus arms. And so I want you to lie there for the next 3 to 5 minutes with your hips lifted, and you can have the knees touching one another if that feels comfortable for you. This relaxes the lower back, any tension or tightness in the lower back. So hold that now. I'm going to read a little bit to you from a book called Insight Yoga. And I'm going to read to you about the lung and the large intestine. Your eyes are closed. And you're really allowing the body to rest here. You know, with us being sat most of the time or upright, we can have a lot of blood and chi and energy pool in through the pelvic area. And so lifting the hips higher than the heart is really rejuvenating for the body. The lungs hold the privilege of being the life-giving network of the whole body, and all our functions depend on them for sustenance. Although they are not typically connected to the intestines, they share energetic characteristics that link them into an ongoing cycle of drawing in nutrients and letting go of waste. The lungs are vastly complex sponges that extend from the collarbones to the diaphragm, filling almost the entire chest cavity. The right lung is divided into 3 lobes, but the left has only 2 because of the position of the heart. The lungs do a vital job. Each day, we take about 23,000 breaths, which are filtered through our lungs to add fresh oxygen to our blood, which in turn carries that oxygen to each and every cell. We expel carbon dioxide, a waste gas from the metabolism of food, from our blood through our lungs as we exhale. They are a vast network that takes in, filters, assimilates, utilizes, and discards. The large intestine is about 5 feet long and includes the colon and the rectum. It's where we store and eliminate waste. It is the garbage collector and is responsible for absorption of water and excretion of solid waste material. When waste builds up, the rest of the system takes on a load it's not meant to bear, and this can result in diarrhea or constipation, bad acne, or headaches. The lungs are considered one of the most tender organs because they are the first area to assimilate the qi from the outside with the qi on the inside. Now I'll continue reading once we're in the next pose. So from here, start to pick your hips up again and draw your pillow out from under you. Place your hips back on the earth. Keep your feet exactly where they are, but drop your knees to the left. Place your hands back into a cactus position if you've moved them at all, and look over your right shoulder for a supine twist. So now we're generally activating the belly area, the torso area through the twist. You can take your gaze over the right hand to bring the twist into the upper spine. We're here for 3 minutes. The lungs are the main way we replenish energy and help organic processes to function within us. The lungs are considered the officials who receive the pure qi from the heavens on an inhalation and propel it downward to where kidney energy roots it in. If we catch a lot of colds or frequently feel under the weather, our lung qi, which is connected to our protective qi, is definitely weak. The nose and throat are also closely related to the lungs, as they are the thoroughfare for respiration. When lung qi is deficient, there can be deficient or stagnant qi anywhere in the body. And this is reflected in an inability to take on many levels, with symptoms ranging from allergies to asthma, bronchitis, respiratory disorders, shortness of breath, coughing and wheezing, rashes or hives. Other problems that may arise when lung qi is poor are rheumatic pain, degeneration of the spine, and the spasms of the throat and the esophagus. These problems are associated with a breakdown within the network that keeps all the systems communicating. The skin is considered the third lung and relates to issues regarding acne, rashes, and hives, which may also be connected to spleen qi as well. The element related to the lung is metal, as metals comprise our communication systems. Just as minerals of the earth provide nourishment for the soul, and as most structures rely on metal for reinforcement, lung qi nourishes and bolsters every cell of the body. Metal conducts electricities just as the breath conducts qi. And lung qi is connected to our sense of smell and corresponds to the nose. Now I want you to activate through the belly ever so slightly and draw the knees back to center and flip them over to the other side, taking your gaze to the opposite hand. 3 minutes in a supine twist in the opposite direction. The lung large intestine qi is associated with courage and reverence, with an ability to experience our moments as precious and to stay in the experience that we're in. Reverence is poignancy without the feeling of despair. It's what causes us to cry when we are awed by beauty. An imbalance or depletion in lung qi is linked to grief that's associated with loss. All emotions associated with the organs are considered natural responses to life, yet when they become compulsive or prolonged, they become injurious to our overall health. Poor lung qi is expressed and not only through extended bouts of sadness, but also by feeling emotionally stopped or unable to express grief. And so you would have noticed that this practice that we're doing today for the next 2 weeks is somewhat kinder to the body. It's not as active. It's much more simple and gentle. And this is to encourage that flow of reverence and beauty and acceptance. And yes, we are finding periods of yang within the yin. So there's movement and there's the holding, but as we are stretching through the fronts of the body and the back of the body, we're allowing moments of stillness to be the practice, to be the practice. Activate through the belly to draw the knees in towards the center again. You may wish to hug the knees into the chest. Squeeze your knees into your heart. Wrap your arms around them as much as you can. And squeeze yourself into a tiny little ball. Maybe even your head and your shoulders lift up. Tiny little ball. You're on your back. And you're squeezing everything in. Breathing in. And as you breathe out, relax into Shavasana. Now at this time, you may wish to do the full 20-minute Shavasana that's in the portal. Or if you choose to do a shorter Shavasana, then lie down now and I will bring you out in the next 3 to 5 minutes. So you are in a supine position, lying on your back. Your palms are facing up. The feet are naturally falling outwards. Your eyes are closed and your body is completely relaxed. You can take a deep breath in through the nose and a long breath out the mouth. Relax the body completely. The idea here is that you prepare the body not only for deep relaxation, but as its name suggests, corpse pose. We're preparing the body for death. And this may seem quite somber, but it's the one thing that we all share. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring some life back to your fingers and your toes. Maybe roll the ankles and the wrists. Draw your knees into your chest and roll over onto your left side. And then find a seat. Come to sit. Whether you are up on a block, a bolster, a cushion, or you're seated flat. Bring your hands into your heart center, into prayer position. Now take your middle finger and press it into the center of your palm on both hands. Bring your hands to solar plexus height, elbows wide. Again with the string upwards, back of the neck long, crown of the head up, roof of the mouth over the pelvic bowl. Repeat silently to yourself. Breathing in, let. Breathing out, go. Every time you breathe in, let. And every time you breathe out, go. We're here for 1 more minute. And every time your mind gets distracted, bring it back to the let. Go. Let go. Complete 1 more cycle of breath. Hands into prayer. Touch the thumb tips to the third eye so that you may see clearly. Touch your thumb tips to your lips so that you may speak loving words, and to your heart so that you may be the act of devotion, kindness, humility, and grace. And then you touch the floor, thanking the earth. So much reverence for the earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for practicing. I hope that you enjoyed this practice and that you found it useful. you can start to get really creative. You know, if yoga is something that you do, or you go to a class, or you're taking part in an online class, and you see a pose where you can incorporate some lung or large intestine activation, you can add these arm stretches and movements in, so that you're activating through these energy channels. There's a lot in the first module as well that we did, where we literally stretched all along up through the traps, especially through a wide-legged child's pose with a twist. This is also very deeply nourishing for the large intestine and lung meridians. So I don't think that there's any one sequence that you can do that only activates through a particular meridian line. They generally tend to support, you know, all energies within the body. And so start to pick up on these tiny little gifts that are given to you in other practices, and feel free to incorporate your own creative pursuits as part of the discovery of how this meridian really supports you to come into kindness and compassion. And I can't wait to hear all about it. Thanks so much. Bye for now.